One cold winter evening, three girls named Emily, Lena, and Jenna were walking home from school together. As it was raining, they huddled under an umbrella and decided to take a shortcut through the woods. The path they chose followed a winding stream that ran through the dense forest. The light was fading quickly, and a thin mist settled over everything. The woods were eerily silent, and in the dim light, the tree branches looked like twisted claws reaching out to snatch them. Suddenly, the girls spotted something that made them freeze in place. Up ahead, they saw a hunched figure crouching at the edge of the stream. As they cautiously approached, they realized it was a woman. She was bent over, scrubbing clothes in the water. The woman looked unsettling. She wore a tattered gray shawl, and her long black hair hung over her face. The clothes she was washing were soaked in blood, and the stream's water had turned a deep crimson. The horrifying sight sent the girls running, stumbling over roots and rocks, until they finally reached Jenna's house. Terrified, they told Jenna's mother what they had seen. "That sounds like the night washerwoman," Jenna's mother said. "My grandparents used to tell me stories about her when I was young. They say she washes burial shrouds for those who are about to die. It's a bad omen." "What?" Jenna gasped. "Does that mean we're going to die?" "I don't know," her mother replied, "but it's considered terrible luck to lay eyes on her." The three girls panicked, but Jenna's mother tried to calm them. "The night washerwoman is just an old ghost story," she said. "She's not real. It's just an ancient superstition. People used to believe in such things long ago, but not anymore. I'm sure you just saw an unfortunate old woman washing her clothes by the river." Despite her reassurance, the girls were still uneasy. Emily decided to go home, while Lena chose to stay over at Jenna's house for comfort. That night, the wind howled and heavy snow began to fall. The house trembled under the gusts, and neither Lena nor Jenna got any sleep. The next morning, when they looked outside, the world was blanketed in snow. School was canceled, but Jenna's parents still had to go to work, leaving the two girls alone at home. After breakfast, they decided to call Emily and invite her over, but when they tried her phone, there was no answer. Worried, Lena and Jenna went to Emily's house and knocked on the door. Her mother answered, her eyes swollen and face streaked with tears. "Emily never came home last night," she sobbed. "The police searched the woods this morning, and they found her, or what was left of her. She had been chopped into pieces, and her remains were floating in the stream." Too overcome with grief, Emily's mother shut the door. Jenna and Lena were petrified. It seemed the legend of the night washerwoman was coming true. They rushed back to Jenna's house, too scared to step outside for the rest of the day. They sat in Jenna's bedroom, whispering about Emily, trying to convince themselves it was just a tragic coincidence. Then all of a sudden, the power went out, plunging them into complete darkness. The girls clung to each other, trembling with fear. They waited in silence, expecting the worst, but nothing happened. After a while, they both sighed in relief. "I was sure that was the night washerwoman coming for us," Jenna laughed nervously. "Me too," Lena chuckled. Feeling hungry, they decided to go downstairs to get a snack. Jenna lit some candles and placed them on the table for light. It was pitch black outside, and her parents wouldn't be home for hours. They rummaged through the cupboards and made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. As they were eating, Lena suddenly began to gag. Her eyes widened in terror, and she clutched at her throat. She was choking. Jenna panicked, trying to help her friend. Lena coughed and gasped for air, her face turning bright red. Then she collapsed to the floor, completely still. Jenna screamed, pounding on Lena's chest, but it was useless. Her friend was gone. Jenna sank to the ground, covering her face with her hands, sobbing uncontrollably. When she finally looked at Lena's body, her face was twisted in a horrific grimace, her lips blue, her tongue protruding grotesquely. Unable to bear the sight, Jenna covered her friend's corpse with a blanket. She rushed to the phone to call her parents, but there was no dial tone. The lines must be down, she thought. She grabbed her cell phone, but there was no signal. Desperate, she ran outside to find help. The night was freezing, and the darkness was absolute. She trudged through the snow, shivering violently, but soon became disoriented, unsure of where she was going. Her teeth chattered, and she felt as though she might freeze to death. Eventually, she was forced to turn back. When she reached the safety of her house, she exhaled in relief. Rubbing her arms and legs, she tried to warm herself up. Fearing she might get sick, Jenna searched for some medicine. She stumbled through the dark hallway and into the bathroom. In the dim light, she found a bottle, opened it, and swallowed its contents. Immediately, she began coughing violently. A searing pain spread through her body. Her throat felt as if it was on fire, her stomach twisted in unbearable agony. The room spun around her as she collapsed to the floor, writhing in pain. At that moment, the power flickered back on. Jenna weakly glanced down at the bottle in her hand. Through her blurred vision, she struggled to read the label. To her horror, she realized what she had just swallowed. It wasn't medicine, it was bleach.